Hello, my name's Philippa Waller.
My name is Penelope Waller, and we are two of the directors at 4D Human Being.
And welcome to the 4D Human Being podcast. What's it all about, Pen?
It's all about your personal and professional relationships. It's about your communication skills, how you lead, how you work and build teams, how you are looking after yourself and your well-being, and how you are much more at choice. What do we mean by that?
Well, sometimes we can get a little caught in patterns in life, and we can all be a little bit on our automatic pilot. So 4D Human Being is all about helping us get back to choice and being a four-dimensional human being. And your fourth dimension, of course,
is intention. So whether it's about your impact, your leadership style, your team dynamics, whether it's about your well-being, whether it's about your communication or your presentation skills, anything that involves human beings interacting with other human beings, 4D Human Being are here to help.
we're going to take a deep dive and look at some tools, insights, theories that are going to help you go from a 3D human doing to a 4D human being, so that you can happen to the world rather than the world simply happening to you.
So we've come to the end of our holiday.
We have.
Thailand.
It's blowing an absolute hoolie out there.
I think we're leaving at the right
In
time.
fact, it's quite rare, well, for me, to see palm trees that blowy.
Yes.
Boy, they bend.
Boy, they bend because they're tall and thin. So for those tall and thin people, don't go out in the storm. So what I love about this holiday is obviously being with you.
Sure.
It's really given space to think, and I was thinking during a massage, so not fully in the moment thinking, but enjoying the thinking. That's
This was in
thing.
between having some really interesting business conversations with some people that we met over here.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, really rich experience on every level. And I was thinking during this massage about why bring 4D into your organisation, or as a coach, if you're an individual, or for your team, or for your whole business? Because it's a useful question to keep checking in on, isn't it?
Well, especially for those people who listen to our podcast who haven't experienced any of our training. And I think the question you asked was specifically around one of the pillars that we bring into organisations, which is usually the thing we get introduced into organisations for, and then the relationship and the scope of what we do with them broadens. But you were thinking, why would somebody initially bring 4D into their organisation?
Yeah.
And you've come up with a lovely Boston Matrix, which we'll talk about.
Love a Boston Matrix.
Love a grid.
I've got a sketch, which Andy, I'm sure, will turn into a beautiful graphic. But for now, it's a sketch on my holiday notepad. But what I realised was that whatever happens in terms of your communication, whether you are presenting and whether you're running a whole organisation and you're trying to communicate a vision or a strategy for the future, whether you're presenting an update or a project, or whether you're updating a team meeting, whether you're giving feedback or you've got a challenging conversation, absolutely anything. Or you're having a creative idea generating session.
Yeah. Or you're trying to sort of pitch something in. You've got some ideas and you want to pitch something in or make some changes in the organisation.
Absolutely. Or you're talking to potential partners or customers. Anything. In this Boston Matrix, you realise that whatever happens, you need 4D impact. You need the kind of impact and engagement, regardless of the content and information that you are giving. So
almost regardless of how successful your business has been up until now, how creative and innovative your new ideas are, how aware you are of market trends and what needs to change, like regardless of where you are on the scale,
how much you're able to keep your people working for you.
So it's almost regardless of where you are on the scale of the what you do and you're doing, ideas, information, data, market information, etc. So almost regardless of if you're in a good space there or a really challenging space there, you still need 4D.
You still need to make an impact. And here is why. So here's my Boston Matrix. So really, really simple. I don't know if you can see that.
This is how the work at 4D starts. This is all innovation.
It's all innovation. So on my vertical axis, I've got value of information. Now, that could be, you could switch that in for amount or quantity of information or content, or relevance. You know, you could put any particular definition in there, but broadly speaking, we're talking about the value of your information. Exactly. So is it useful? Is there enough of it? Et cetera, et cetera. Yeah. And that's what we think about most of the time.
Do I know my market? What do I need to think about in terms of product innovation?
Have I got my data points? Have I got all my agenda points for this meeting?
Yeah, what worked last year? What didn't work last year? What people have I got? All of that.
Exactly.
Stuff.
And on our horizontal
And
axis,
you need valuable information.
Sure, you do. And on our horizontal axis, we've got 4D, impact and engagement. So engaging your audience, communicating with impact, all of that kind of emotion, relationship, engagement, interactivity, getting people to really getting their attention, grabbing them, engaging them, motivating them, all of that. So impact and engagement. Now,
good communication.
Great communication, exactly. Regardless of what words are coming out of your mouth, people want to watch you and listen to you.
Yeah, right.
So, the old adage was style and substance. Yeah. And, the danger is you've got style over substance. However, we're going to challenge that because, all right, so let's stay on the left hand of our Boston matrix. I think I've got lipstick on there. And you can work with that. So on the left-hand side, let's say you've got low value content.
Yeah.
So either there's not enough of it or it's not very interesting or useful. And you've got low impact. So you're in the dead zone. You're in the dead zone. You've got no energy. People aren't bothered to listen to you. You are in the dead McDead zone. You might as well have not got out of bed this morning.
I bet everyone is now thinking of a recent meeting they went into that is now going to be classified as the dead zone.
Where you were not engaged and there was no information that was useful to you. I mean, that is, you might as well have not bothered. You might as well have gone and had a latte with a friend or gone and met someone in a different department and discussed ideas and potentially generated something useful.
Well, done exactly like you, Phil. Got out a piece of paper and a pen and just thought, let's start with blank sheet of paper.
Because that was a waste of time. Okay, so that's that. So pointless, stay in bed. Read a book, really good book. If you are on the low end of impact and engagement, but you've got high value content and potentially a lot of it, then you're in what I've called the dreary zone. Penelope, you've called the missed
I've added the missed opportunity zone. So you've got something that's really useful, could be valuable, new innovation, market information, ideas. Yeah. But as you say, dreary could be a massive missed opportunity.
Now, how many of us, and I've done this too many times, have bought an audiobook or wanted to listen to a podcast where the title and the content, you go, that is my wheelhouse.
Yeah, that's for me.
That is definitely for me.
I wanted to read that for ages.
I wanted to read that for ages. I can't wait. Oh my goodness, that's going to be my holiday.
Add value to my career or my knowledge.
Can't wait. And then you switch it on or you plug in, or this is also going to a presentation or a talk where you've thought, that's going to change my world. Yeah. And then the person starts talking.
And they've got a dreary
voice. Or it's sort of stumbly, or it's not connected to the breath, or it's got no energy, or it's monotone. And you try, and you stay with it, and you try, and you stay with it, and then I can't.
No.
I literally can't. Because we are going to switch off, even if the content has value for us, if we are not engaged at a more emotional level. If the voice is not engaging, if we can't keep track and we're not being drawn in, it's over.
Which is why I've added onto your dreary labelling.
I've just called it dreary.
Missed opportunity, because we can think a lot about the what, and it's not that it's not important.
It is important.
The what is very important.
It's very different if you're selling nuclear armaments to T-shirts.
Sure.
Different.
Important. And at 4D, we can really help you with the what as well.
Yeah.
And what's really at the sort of bullseye of what we do is the how.
Bring it to life.
Because if your what is brilliant, you are talking to human beings who, fortunately or unfortunately, are emotional beings who will care subconsciously or consciously about the how. How you deliver it will totally change how engaged they are, how motivated they are, how much they remember it, what they're going to do. And missed opportunity, like those books that you've never read.
Yes, exactly. And we're seeing it a lot in politics. That's a whole other discussion. So it's true though, because people want to be engaged.
Yeah.
And that can come with all sorts of problems. So we're going to move on to what the sweet spot can look like. So first of all, we're going to go with low value content.
Yeah.
But high engagement, high impact. So someone standing up there, or this can also be the sort of the office clown. They haven't really got anything useful to add, but boy, are they fun to be with.
Or it's like the monthly update that everybody kind of already knows the data. They've had the pre-read. So, you know, the value to them of the actual information might be quite low. But
the person delivering it, their leader delivering it is just...
You like that person.
You like that person. They're super energized. They're always, you know, always really engaging. Ask you a question, maybe have a bit of a joke, bring a little gift, you know, grab a coffee, bring the buns. You really want to be with them.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So this is high impact, but not necessarily a lot or particularly valuable content. So you've gone to that talk, you've been really hopeful that this is going to be a stack of information, and you've maybe walked away with one thing. Although, to be fair, one really good thing is often worth it, but you've been engaged. Now, I've called this with you, entertained and ready.
And I would add, in a slightly more sort of leadership tone, the with you piece is you're creating fellowship.
You've got your
all
audience.
Of these moments.
Yeah.
They're going to be people, and I've seen this when I worked in corporate. I have absolutely seen this. People had reputations across the organisation. You want to go and work in that division because he or she is super fun, super engaging. Yeah. And people asked for transfers. Yeah. So you want to get some fellowship. Now, it's not to say that you can never, ever have value in your content, because at some point, you know, you have to have something of value. But nevertheless, it's not that those moments of engagement and fun and entertainment are not important. They are hugely important.
Hugely important.
And I would add to this, they were just talking recently about the LA fires, which is a very, very different a very different subject matter. But they were talking again, which we talk a lot about the consistency and regularity of communicating, which again, it goes back to that square in that quadrant. Even if you feel like, well, I haven't really got anything useful to update on, I haven't really got any news. Communicate.
Well, it was like the pandemic. Even when there was no news, we want someone to be communicating to us and communicating well. So you've already got your audience. So already on the left hand of this Boston matrix, even if you've got good value content to deliver, you haven't got your audience already on the low end of the high impact. So if you bring 4D in, even if you haven't got very much to say, you've got fellowship, you've got people, you've got the potential, your audience is ready. Now, all you've got to do, the soil is fertile. All you've got to do now is sow a seed, because you've got people.
Well, you've got them ready for when you have got something important that you want them to do.
Exactly. Now let's go to the sweet spot. So up on the right-hand side, top right-hand corner, we've got high value of content. So you've structured and organised your information in a really good way. You haven't sort of given them 20 pieces of information. You've given them your sort of top 3. It's really relevant. You've absolutely prioritized what people need to hear. It's really relevant to your audience. You've made it clear to them that it is really useful to them and valuable, and why. And you're delivering it in a super engaging way. So maybe you're doing it in a slightly different way. Maybe you've changed the format. Maybe you've got no slides. Maybe you've changed from having a kind of auditorium full of people staring at you to a more interactive session. Maybe you're doing it via video link. Maybe you're somewhere like Thailand, you're doing it from somewhere more exotic. Maybe you're just hugely passionate about it, the work that we do, that energy, that commitment. Up here is the sweet spot. I love what you're saying, and I love the way that you're saying it. I am in. Now I'm on board, I'm motivated, everything is clear, I know my part in it, and I'm ready to take action. And that is where you want to be.
Why would you not want to be?
Why would you not want to be in that spot?
And the thing that we find time and time and time again is the amount of time that we spend on preparing the information, or we don't think we've got
sitting down,
or we don't think perhaps it's very exciting, or we spend hours and hours preparing it. And then we are not able to deliver it in a sort of engaged and impactful way. Yeah. And it just kind of fades away to nothing.
It's a waste of your time and everyone else's time. Yes, such dead time. On this lovely Boston Matrix, which will be coming to a cinema near you soon, which will be looking very different fairly soon.
This is the prototype. You've
got this at the absolute sort of idea generating from the massage table straight to you level. Whatever happens, you want to be on the right-hand side of this Boston Matrix. So whatever you've got, whatever idea you've got, whatever stage it's at, and I think we can talk to, as we are now, talking at a really early stage of a model that we'll definitely work with. Wherever you are with your team, your organisation, your strategy, your vision, if it's early, it's not quite formed, you've got the first bit, you've got sort of half the information that you need, you're waiting for some more data, but you need to give people an update. Wherever you are, or a product that actually you're still working on, it's sort of, you're going to go to market, but it's not completely fully ready. Wherever you are, You want to be on the right-hand side of this Boston matrix. You want to be energized, impactful, and engaging your audience. So therefore, if your leaders and your teams and your whole organization are not energized and engaged, and if your leaders are not communicating like that, that is why
you need 4D.
Plug. That is why you need
totally
4D or an equivalent to come in and do this bit, because you've got to be on this side. And particularly now.
And if anybody is sitting there thinking, all sounds great, I can't picture, I can't imagine what that would actually look like, which we get, when,
what do you actually do?
When we meet new clients, and I've had this experience recently, myself and Matt have done a briefing with a client. We're going to be working with them very soon. And they haven't seen us work before. So we've sent the proposal, we've explained what we're going to do. And they said, I can't feel it, I can't see what it's going to look like. And so we went through in quite a bit
go onto YouTube, but anyway.
Well, actually, exactly, there's plenty of stuff out there. And we went through in quite a bit of detail about, for example, how we would bring energy to life and how that is taught and how that is then applicable and relevant for what they do. And their eyes were absolutely sort of wide, recognizing and realizing that the words we were speaking about engagement and impact, how that was actually going to come to life in the room and be tangible and applicable for people to walk away and work with. So if anybody out there is thinking, love it, can't see how that's going to work, because bobbing accounts isn't particularly inspiring. I don't know how you're going to change.
Well, I was just thinking of bobbing accounts, and of course the danger is, Bob is Bob.
Yeah,
Bob does what Bob does.
Yeah,
yes, and
he's got a place on that Boston matrix, on that grid, and that's just where he's.
That's just where he is. But that is the point. Is what we've spent decades doing is honing all of the research around sort of neuroscience, behaviour, human impact, performance, and bringing really, really tangible tools that can help Bob move across the right-hand side of this Boston matrix. Because the point is, you're better off being on the lower end of this right-hand side. So
being anywhere on the
right side. But what's so interesting about it is that you're better off being on the lower end of the right-hand side than you are on the upper end of the left-hand side. Like, that is how important it is. You've got to flip.
Well, the high level value or volume of information, but dreary delivery would suggest you've done an enormous amount of work.
Yeah.
You know your market, or you know the new idea that you're going to deliver. You've got stacks and stacks of data and information, and then you don't land it in an impactful way.
Can't,
What a shame.
Yeah, what a shame. Yeah.
So if you're thinking about your organisation, if you're thinking about particular people and where they tend to sit in terms of their impact engagement, and thinking, I just don't know, I can absolutely guarantee you the way that 4D works, the way that we look at this work and help people with tangible tools that can be applied, we can move anybody up and down the scale.
Absolutely. Yeah, we don't want to move.
A quick word from us at 4D Human Being. If you're enjoying the show, please do click follow so that you can have the 4D Human Being podcast instantly in your feed. And we'd love it if you liked and reviewed us. Let us know what you think. Please do think of one or two people that you could share the 4D Human Being podcast with. Somebody who would really benefit from the content you're listening to right now. Back to the show.
Down. But also, I was just thinking that, of course, this isn't only about those more formal meetings or presentations or client pitches or any number of communication interaction points. It's also about all of the people that are in your organisation. When they walk out of the door at the weekend and go to a barbecue or a party and shake hands with someone that they haven't met, and that person asks them, where do you work? Who do you work for? You want them replying to that question over a margarita with
or a cup of tea.
With an energy and an engagement that immediately makes that other person interested in your organisation, because your people are your organisation. They are communicating that all the time. And if they go to a party and somebody says, what have you been working on? And they go, I've been working on, let me go through the 20 points of this latest project that I've been working on with my organisation. And then they name the organisation. And then they go through the 20 points. That person is thinking, I literally never want to meet anybody from that organisation again.
No, you'd rather they had one point and delivered it in an engaging and sort of interesting way. No, totally. And as we spoke about last time, unless your name is Brad Pitt and you're an astronaut.
If you haven't listened to one of the previous podcasts, that is going to make absolutely no sense. That podcast is Fall in Love with Presenting Part 1, just so we can put some context.
And we talk about how people tend to introduce themselves, and that can also be at a barbecue. Say, oh, hi, who are you? You know, what do you do? I'm Brad Pitt, I'm an astronaut. Okay, we're in the engaging and impactful. But usually it might be, hi, I'm Mike and I'm a project manager.
Yeah.
Not so, what does your company do? And as you say, if we don't go in with something with impact and engagement, people are going to be like, oh, that sounds really
exactly. They make nuts and bolts rather than, they hold Porsches together.
Exactly.
That's what they do. Woo-hoo. Tell me more. Exactly.
Well, the other thing about this work as well, of course, in terms of what you can give your organisation, very, very linked to what we're talking about in terms of the choice that Bobbin Accounts or anybody else will have in terms of their impact and engagement. We love you, Bob. What we're really talking about, the core of everything that we do at 4D, is we're talking about choice. We're talking about bringing your choice back to yourself and being really conscious about how you're showing up, how you're engaging in the world around you. And if you think about your organisation, you really, really do want people who are taking responsibility for themselves, curious, engaged, willing to sort of step up, speak up, engage and collaborate. Yeah. You don't necessarily want people who are sitting there and just waiting for them to be asked what tasks to do. Well, so, we talk about your workforce happening to the world, or are they waiting for the world to happen?
Well, exactly. To them? And one of the most important things about this is impactful, brilliant, engaging communication is not a nice add-on that you do after you've done everything else. If that sits at the heart of your leadership, your team and your organisation, where there's energy, there's opportunity. Yeah. That, again, we'll go back to, even if you're at the early stages of a project or an idea, that your leaders and you can talk about it with energy and engagement, you've just tripled, quadrupled the doors that have opened in your network and the conversations that you're going to have and the people that those people are going to introduce you to. So it's almost like flipping on its head the way round that you think this goes. Yeah. If you think it's get all of the data and all of the information and people knowing all of that, and then we might be able to sort of polish that a bit at the end. If from the ground up, your people are interacting and communicating with energy and intention, you're going to have more ideas. You're going to have better ideas. Yeah. You're going to have more people who want to come and work with you. You're going to get the best people working for you. You're going to have more customers because you've got more followership. I mean, it doesn't stop.
On and on.
Goes on and on.
Well, I've really been thinking about some of the conversations we've been having here. We've met some absolutely fascinating business people from different parts of the globe. And, we're going to be following up on certain things. It's been absolutely fascinating. In parallel, I've been thinking about our Chancellor in the UK, Rachel Reeves, going over to China. And there's loads and loads of talk at the moment about stimulating growth, and we need to really sort of stimulate the economy and get it growing, get it moving. And I thought, how do people think that actually happens?
Yes.
At the sort of nuts and bolts, yes, we think about, we want investment, we want jobs.
We want the policies to be right and all of those things.
How do we think those things actually get off the ground? Yeah. Engaging conversations.
Absolutely.
That's how they get off the ground.
Exactly
that's what people are doing. And of course, at that high level of government, we want people to be doing that. I would offer that we want people to be doing it at every level in our organisation, because that is where business starts and where business ends. Yep. Engaging conversations.
Absolutely. Where you put energy, you get opportunity and success. I mean, it's such an interesting one, isn't it? Because if you imagine, if you know those offices, a bit like the Office, which is in the States and in Ricky Gervais's
the TV show.
The TV show, The Office. You imagine those offices where you can kind of cut the atmosphere with a knife because there's no energy. Of course, those stories are always, we've got to merge with, Slough or Bracknell or whatever because nothing's happening because there's no energy, there's no interaction. I love that scene where Ricky Gervais said, the bad news is you're all made redundant, but the good news is I'm promoted. But, nothing is really happening. Yeah. Now, if you imagine an office that you've been in or maybe your own office and you imagine it like that and just imagine how much is actually going to happen. And now imagine it buzzing almost with, vibrant colours and energy and people talking and moving around and having those conversations. And immediately it will feel like that is going to be a much more successful, obviously much more active, much more engaged business, but it's going to be more successful because if you're having those kind of conversations, you cannot stop things happening.
No.
Things have to happen.
And this does not mean that everybody's got to be kind of bouncing around at a high
it's not playgroup.
You can also be really impactful and really engaging at a sort of, conserving your energy, a relatively low energy. But it's about the choice of how you're showing up and how you're making your colleagues feel. And that we have choice over in every single moment.
Exactly, because you're still, you're still high impact when you've got, an intention and a focus towards someone. It doesn't have to be kind of crazy energy, but it's absolutely with them and determined to communicate because you're passionate about what you do.
Yeah.
So exactly, it's all about choice. So that, in a nutshell,
is from the 4D impact engagement model.
Yes, from our last day in Thailand. So whatever you do, think about how you, your team and your organisation are going to shift more over to that right-hand column, whatever it is you're communicating, even if you're delivering a difficult message, how can you shift more over to that right-hand side? That means you're really, really with people and really communicating with intention. And then you're on the right side of this grid, you're communicating with 4D impact. And if you're not,
sky's the limit.
Bring us in. We'd love to come and work with you.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the 4D Human Being podcast. We hope you enjoyed the show. Do take on board some of the insights, tools and tips, because every time that you try something new to get back to choice, you are making a vote for the you that you want to become. And I love that phrase, Pen.
I do too. And please do share this episode with somebody that you know would really benefit from the lessons and learnings we've been chatting about today.
And of course, if you're interested in more from 4D Human Being, do get in touch. We run workshops, trainings, online, in person, conference events and keynotes. We've got the 4D On Demand platform for your whole organisation. And we do have a free Essentials membership where anybody can sign up for absolutely free to access some of our insights, tools and tips. So do get in touch with us if you'd like to hear more. We cannot wait to hear from you and to carry on the conversation.